get that feeling. I want sexual healing. So my dad looks back. Who taught you that song?
Welcome to Message Reveal. Message Reveal identifies a vibe, a message, or a story told through lyrics of a song. And yes, if you guys rock with me every Monday, you know what I do. I'll tell you a few things about our special guest. But before we do so, if you're new to my platform, please subscribe and find out what Message Revealed is all about. So now let's get down to business so I can tell you about my special guest. My special guest, one, he offers services in advertising and marketing, and we'll find out more about that. He's also an author. And last but definitely not least, drum roll, he's a digital creator. You guys, please put your hands together and welcome my special guest, Mr. Mark Todd.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here with you. Thank you.
You are welcome. And I'm going to tell you, like I tell all of my guests, thank you for taking your Friday to spend with me. I appreciate you.
Absolutely my pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So let's just get started. Can you just tell me a small little piece of who you are for myself and my audience?
Man, if I start, we probably won't finish till next week. But
Okay, I'm with it.
um, my name, I go by Coach Mark. A lot of people call me Coach Mark, but my name is Mark Todd. I am, like you said, a marketer. I am a content creator, and I really don't even like to use that term because I think it's overused. But I do create content for social media, and I think, and just a businessman, I've been an entrepreneur, businessman for all my life. The last job I had was in 1996, so almost 30 years ago.
Wow. I'm not gonna ask your age, but wow.
Well, I just turned 50 2 weeks ago.
Okay, right
Yes, I'm an
on.
old head. I'm an old head.
No, that's called a wise head because you done been
Yeah,
through some stuff. You know how to navigate through life.
have I? Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, and happy birthday, even though I know it was 2 weeks ago.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago,
Oh, 3 weeks, May 20th.
3 weeks ago. Oh, okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That bull, that Taurus, all right.
Oh yeah. I'm for sure a Taurus, for sure.
You know, with you bulls, you Taurus, you make up your mind when you want to, even though somebody have told you you were wrong. You like when I get ready. That
Yeah,
bull.
yeah. I have to admit it. That is true. That is true.
Oh wow. Well, I'm so happy you said yes, but I gave you a little bit when we talked, but I have to tell you, my passion is music.
Mm,
Music has turned me all the way out in such a great way. And I say that because music has been my counselor, music has been my energizer, music has relaxed me. I mean, I can go on and on about music, but I say all of that to say this. I have a question for you regarding music.
okay.
Can you identify a song that has provided either lessons, blessings, or distractions? Now, before you answer, sir, there's a couple rules to this, okay?
Hmm.
If you can sing, I need you to sing your throat box out.
That's not gonna happen today.
But if you can rap, I need you to come hard in the paint. I need you to do it like they do
And
it.
I would sound like them guys from 1970 Sugar Hill Gang. I am, but I love music too. Before I really even got started in business or anything, I was actually a DJ. So
Oh,
I've been a music person all my life. The two M's that I love is music and marketing.
oh, okay.
Yeah, music and I love music. I could it's so funny. I was thinking about this the other day and I was like, man, if they told you you could only listen to one genre of music, what would it be? And I just don't even know because I'm so torn. I'm originally from Kingston, Jamaica, but
All
I
right.
yeah, but I left when I was a baby. I was about 1 or 2 years old when I left, and I grew up in South Florida, in Miami, South Florida. So I love reggae music, but I also love 80s, 70s, and 80s music, and those are the two forms of music that I mostly listen to, and I love music.
Hmm.
I absolutely love music. I could not do without music. I wouldn't even want to live in a world without music.
No, I absolutely agree with you. So when I went through the spell talking about it's my counseling, it's my energizer, you totally understood where I was coming
Oh,
from, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
And before I get to the last spell, if you cannot sing, if you cannot rap, I need you to tell me from the heart, talk about the lyrics. You know, when they say in the street, stand 10 toes down,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I need to be able to feel it. So I'm going to go back to my original question. Can you provide a song that has either blessed you, provided lessons for you, or distracted you?
Man, there's so many songs. Um, God, there's so many songs. Um, I'm going to, and this may not be the, if I had more time, if I thought about it a little bit longer, I'd probably come up with something. But I want to say a song by probably one of my favorite artists. It's a Jamaican artist, a reggae artist named Dennis Brown.
Okay.
And the song that I don't know, just it's the song that's just coming to my head. It's called Promised Land. It's called The
Mm.
Promised Land. Yeah, yeah, The
And can
Prom.
you give me a couple of lyrics of the song Promised Land?
He's talking about going back to the Promised Land, which is in Africa. Um, I can't even. Now you put me on the spot. I can't remember the lyrics, but it's a beautiful song, man. I love that song. Dennis Brown is probably, in my opinion, the greatest reggae singer of all time. A lot of people would say Bob Marley, but actually Dennis Brown was Bob Marley's favorite singer.
Wow.
I think Bob Marley is the greatest artist from Jamaica of all time because Bob Marley, I would have to say, is probably top five greatest artists of all time.
Mm,
I would put Michael Jackson in there. I don't even. It's funny. I was having this conversation. I think with my son a couple days ago. Um, and after Michael Jackson, I don't think there's a bigger artist in the world than Bob Marley. Like
mm,
that's worldwide known.
mm-hmm.
Like you could show a picture, you could go to Africa, you could go to Australia, wherever, and show a picture. I think that Michael Jackson is probably the most famous, and then
Absolutely.
after that, I would say Bob Marley, or Bob Marley's definitely in the top five. You
Hmm.
know, so I think he's the greatest artist to come out of Jamaica, but I think Dennis Brown is the greatest Jamaican singer of all time.
So let's dig a little deeper. What is it? Is his syncopation? Is it his tone, his cadence? What is it about him that draws you where you can say he's the greatest singer of all time?
Greatest reggae singer of all time.
Excuse me, reggae.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. It's just the way that his music just speaks to my soul.
Mm, mm,
His music just speaks to my soul. And what's crazy is that when I was younger and I would hear his songs, so I've known about him from when I was young, but I wasn't really into that type of reggae music when I was younger. I was more into like dancehall, which is like comparable to like rap. And as I got older, I really started to appreciate his music and his catalog. His catalog is crazy. And he died young. He died, I think, at age 39.
ooh.
And yeah, he died very young. Like a lot of great singers, that Bob Marley died young too. I think Bob Marley died at 39. as well, or yeah, it was like
I
39.
know he was in his 30s.
Yeah, yeah. I just, and I wonder sometimes, it's like, man, those guys just have so much in them that they just, they just come onto earth for a short period of time
Mhm.
and share their gift with the world, and then they have to leave to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah. Something about Dennis Brown, his songs, man, his voice, his the content of his songs, it just, I don't know, man. It just, when I hear it, it just makes me feel great.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
You're going to make me be curious, and when I get off, I'm going to go listen to some of his selection. If I'm not mistaken, I think Marsha Ambrosia did a remix of his song. I think
Okay.
that was the first time, if we're talking about the same guy, that I heard of him, and it was a
Okay.
beautiful song, and then I saw the original. So I always say thank you, because on this platform, sometime I'm the teacher and sometime I'm the student. Today I'm the student.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. And I love 80s, 70s and 80s music too. So
Mhm.
I kind of go back and forth. Sometimes I'll be where I'll listen to a lot of reggae music, and then sometimes, like lately, probably the last year or so, I've really listened to a lot of 70s and 80s music. So I love 70s and 80s music. It just it, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of just when I was growing up.
Mhm.
Um yeah. So
And I think what I notice about the 70s and 80s music, if I may say, that it crafted a well crafted story to get to the point. It wasn't like every every it had loops and tunnels, and it kept you on that ride until you got to the bridge, and then you were ready
yeah,
to flow. And I'm not saying all music is like that, because we have some beautiful, beautiful artists right now. They just don't get the shine
right.
because the radio station play the same thing over and over again. So I always tell people, if you ever want to find something new or find a new genre of music, watch NPR Tiny Desk. It'll take you to a
Yeah,
whole nother level.
yeah. I've seen some of the Tiny Desk. I'm probably late to the party with the NPR Tiny Desk. Because I think I just started watching them maybe about 2 years ago or so.
Hmm.
But man, those are some really amazing performances. I've gone back and watched some of them, and they are incredible. And I didn't
Yes.
realize, it wasn't until like I went to go look for one, and then I realized that they've been doing this for a long time, and
Oh,
all of your favorite artists probably have done them.
yes. I
Yeah,
love one because it's live, and number two, I love the variety. I've some international artists that
yeah,
I had no idea about, local artists, artists from other. It's really crafted to showcase every kind of music, and I love
yeah.
that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes. So let's get back and let's talk about you being an author.
Yes.
What was the impetus to say, you know what, I'm going to write a book? And if I'm not mistaken, the book is called Repeat After Me.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, that was the first book that I wrote. I wrote that back in, I think I released it in 2015. I'd started working on it from 2014. And what it was that I'd spent so much time reading self-improvement, self-development books, and I just felt like I had a lot of wisdom to share. And I had discovered a lot of strategies that had helped me um, during some personal stuff that I was going through in my life at that time. And I just felt like I wanted to share that with the world. I'm a huge reader. I have probably in my house like 2 or 3 thousand books,
Wow.
physical books, and then I have probably another two or 3 thousand ebooks. That's like on my Kindle and my iPad and all that or whatever. And I will take in, I just take in so much information, and I just figure, I was like, man, I know most people aren't gonna read as much as I do, so let me kind of put my thoughts together and share something with them.
Yeah, I think that's great. You're definitely an avid reader,
Yeah.
just for what you express. So let's dig a little deeper and talk about, you talked about you compiling your reading, your experience into one book. Give
Yeah.
me the gist of Repeat After Me.
So repeat after me. Let me see. I put it out 10 years ago. I haven't read it in 10 years.
Or
But
what would,
um I basically it's these 30 different I don't know if I want to say principles, but
mhm.
like 30 different things that where you could essentially, the whole goal of the book was for you to read like one chapter every day. And to read a chapter was only maybe about maybe take you 10 or 15 minutes, and each chapter focused on a particular subject. So for instance, like it may say one chapter may be consistency, and it would talk about why it's important to be consistent. Another chapter, I wish I had one the books around here. So I know I got one. So oh, I do. Oh, okay, good, good.
Yay!
And as a matter of fact, I will after the show. This is the book. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
After we finish, if you send me your address, I will send you one.
Oh,
But
wonderful.
yeah, so it's such a good book. I'm not saying that just because it's me either. So like day
Well,
one is
listen, if you don't toot you, who gonna toot it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So day one is confidence.
Mhm.
Day two is desire. Day three is drive. Day four is faith. Day five is preparation. Day six is goals. So I have all these different things for 30 days, and I break down every single one of them. And it's a book where it kind of really causes you. It's very easy to read. I made sure that I put like big words in there, so it's not like the typical book that looks like a dictionary. And they're broken into parts, and there's like a lot of like where you could take action. So you read each part, and then there's a part in there where you would, the lesson, um a question that you ask yourself about that section, how you take action, and then resources and whatnot. So
That's wonderful. Well,
mhm.
thank you for sharing. And I just love the title, Repeat After Me.
Yeah,
And we know when it's something, we think about if you go to the church and the preacher and he said, repeat after me. And we know that's a mechanism to lock into the brain. You say it over and over
absolutely.
again, you become what you're saying. So
Yeah, yeah,
I definitely had to find out what that was all about.
yeah.
So you said that was that the only book, or you've written some
So
other
I
books?
I actually just finished my second book. It's being laid out right now. I just sent it over a couple of days ago to the person that's going to do the layout for me. So hopefully I'll have that book ready within the next month or so, next couple of weeks.
Do you already have a title, or can you tell just a little bit about what it is? If not, I
So,
totally
oh
understand.
no 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 no, I don't mind sharing. So the working title right now is called creating contagious, compelling content. So what?
Okay.
Yeah. So what it is that it shows entrepreneurs, business owners, experts, course creators, how to make content that draws people into you. Because I think that's so very important. And I'll just tell you a quick story, like how I even came to writing the book. Last year, I'd partnered with somebody, and we started a coaching business. We had started a done for you agency and a coaching business for people that are in that space, that are experts that teach people online education space. And we had a bunch of students, and we were supposed to do an online event that I specialize in. I'm probably one of the best in the world at doing these online challenges. I don't know if you've seen them. They got very popular during COVID because everybody was at home, so a lot of experts and course creators online were doing these. They'll do a 5-day challenge, and then at the end of the challenge they'll sell you into their higher ticket course or whatever. And that's what our agency was for, because I was one of the best in the world, and my partner was known to be one of the best as well. So
Wow.
we had these people that paid us a lot of money, high five-figure money to be a part of our thing. And so we came up with with the syllabus, and we're training them. And then I realized that a lot of these people aren't quite ready to do this event because they don't have any presence online. And if you it's like you could have the great you could have a restaurant, and you're cooking the greatest food ever, but if you don't have anything to draw people into the restaurant, it doesn't matter. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. Like, you're gonna cook food every day and it's gonna go to waste. So, like, I realized that I had to work with the people in being able to draw people in, and it kind of set me down a path. And then I was like, okay, how can I teach people how to make content that attracts people into them? And essentially, that's what the book is about: how to attract people in.
Oh, nice. Well, I wish you much luck with that. I
Thank
do
you.
think that we all need some extra insight into how attracting, to attract people. So I think that's great. And send me a text when it comes out.
Absolutely, and I'll send you a copy too.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I appreciate it. I bless your kindness.
Oh no, absolutely, my pleasure.
So let's talk about, and you did dabble a little bit, I guess, talking about what you did, but with your book, your advertising slash marketing slash content creation. Um, what kind of clientele do you usually service? Who is it? You give all the marketing, advertising, content creation, or they come for different pieces?
Generally, the people that I work with are people that have some level of expertise, and they want to sell that expertise online. Right. So I've worked with people in the real estate niche. I've done a lot of work with people in the real estate niche where they have some sort of technique or strategies that they teach people, and I'll work with those type of people. You know, I've one of my past clients was a physical therapist, and he taught other physical therapists on how to develop a better practice, or how to have a better practice. So anyone that's in the online coaching space, I worked with a young lady that was a interior designer, and she wanted to teach other people how to get into that field. So,
Mm,
like, I work with people that have an expertise in any area. I tell people all the time that if you have something that people can make an extra couple $1,000s a month, you can teach that, and people will pay you a lot of money. People will pay you a lot of money to learn that skill, because you think about it, right? All of us, if we have an expertise in something, it took us years to figure it out. Why wouldn't you want to just find someone that has already done it and pay them some money?
absolutely.
It's crazy because, like, when I really got into this space some years ago, um, they were, and I hope I don't sound bad for this, but especially our people, we wouldn't pay, we it hard to get us to buy a book. You know what I'm saying? Like, we wouldn't want to. I mean, I'm not saying that we don't read or anything like that, but it was, like, a lot of, if people were selling information, people be, oh, it's a scam, it's a scam, oh, it's a scam, right? But I think
Hmm.
over the last, really, from a little bit before COVID through now, we're starting to realize that the best way is just to pay someone to
Hmm.
learn it. Like,
Hmm.
why should you take 10 years to learn how to do something where you could find someone that has already done it? They know all the potholes, they know all the landmines, and if you could pay them a little bit of money so you don't have to go through all of that, man, do that. Do
Yeah,
that. I mean, like, I tell people now, man, I do not have time to take 5 or 10 years to learn anything, man. I'm 50 now. You know what I'm saying? And I don't got 10 years to waste. I want, if something I want to learn,
yeah.
all I want to know is that that person really knows what they're talking about, because there
Hmm.
are a bunch of scammers out there. There's a bunch of people that don't really know it, and they're just trying to teach it. But I'm gonna pay. Then all I want to know, how much you
Yes.
charge, and I'm paying you if
Yeah.
I think you could help me get the results that I want to get.
Yeah. It's a fast track system, and also you get to tap into their wisdom, their experience,
Absolutely.
and probably even they give you some feedback on some roadblocks as well.
Absolutely. So there's all kinds of things that you've never done it before. You know, I love to. It's not love, but it's amusing to me when I see people. They'll go like I've gone into a restaurant with a friend and they'll be like, "Oh, why are they doing it like this? Oh, if I had a restaurant, I would do this, or if
Oh,
I had
wow.
this business and I would do that, or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah," I was like, "You're talking from theory though,
There
because
you
you've
go.
never done it. If you've never done something before, it's only theory, and you think you know the right way to do it, and you really don't, you know." And then I see people take their money there. I've seen this happen so many times. Like people may have had like a 401k, they worked a little corporate job, they're making good money, six figures a year, whatever, and they decide, man, I'm gonna start my own whatever business, right?
Hmm.
Restaurant or this, that, whatever, whatever. And then um they don't do any research. They just go in and think they know what they're doing, and they blow all their money, and then within like 6 months, the world hands it to them, and they realize that this was, and I would always say like, man, go and either pay some, join someone's coaching program, because whatever it is that you're trying to do, there's someone that's already done it, and there's someone that's teaching people how to do it. So either
Absolutely.
join their coaching or go work for somebody for 6 months and see, like go in a restaurant and work, even if you're like the dishwasher, it doesn't matter what, but go in and work, and then first you'll see if you really want to do that, because a lot of times, we just see the outside of it or whatever, but we don't understand like what really goes in to running a business. I remember a couple of years ago, I love to bake, and I was thinking about starting a bakery, and then I watched this show on Netflix where it was and the guy had to wake up at 3 in the morning to cook everyone. I was like, hell no,
Your
I
mind was
can't do that.
changed quickly.
Rapidly.
But going back to what you mentioned before, which is so critical about people making assumptions, just like I'll bring it to men that play basketball and they'll tell her, "Oh, I could have did that high jump. I don't know what he was thinking. He didn't did this. Well, you, sir, could even get off a playground with some teenagers, but you're ridiculing the person that did make that, and they're up in the morning doing their work to get where they're at. So it's one thing to have theory work, but it's a whole nother thing with applied hands-on science in the process. It brings to me, Mickey Howard had the song that said, "Experience is a good teacher.
I
It
remember that
takes
song. Yeah.
someone like me to know." When you have the experience, can't nobody, not saying tell you nothing, but you have that
Right.
applied knowledge.
No, absolutely. And we all have to be careful of it, because right now the NBA finals are going on, and I don't really watch sports during the regular season. I tune in when the playoffs come. I keep up with it. I watch every morning. I go to ESPN and see if my team lost or won, but I don't really get into it until the final. And we all get caught up sometimes, and we'll look at a player and be like, man, they're a scrub, man, they're a scrub. And like you said, it's so easy for us to call them a scrub or they're not good or whatever, and I get caught up in that, and I know better, but they still made it to the NBA.
They
I
not
couldn't
playing
even
at the
make it
park.
out of high school.
They're not playing at the park right now.
Right. And to be honest with you, it's so funny that you say the part is that and one of the things that really motivated me to put this book out there is like I generally work for other people. So like a company will bring or will hire me to come in and consult for them or to do the work, and I'll do like short-term projects. So we'll do a project. I might work with that company for a month or two and then make a ton of money. We'll make, high six, maybe seven figures, and then I'm collecting. I get a you can't pay me per hour. I charge a percentage of all the revenue we bring in, and then I go about my business. And I might only do one or two projects a year because I have other businesses, real estate and all kinds of other stuff where if I can go a year and not work and still all my bills will be paid.
Well,
But
you know what? Let me stop you. And from me to you,
mhm.
you are blessed.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And and I I recently I've been telling myself this the last year or 2 years, that I feel that I'm one of the best in the world at what I do with in online marketing. But I was like, you know what? Until I put my own program out there, I'm just a guy. I'm just a playground legend. Like the people that have played with me know that I'm good. Like, and they will say, "This guy really knows what he's talking about, knows what he's doing." But the world doesn't know, you know. And I'm
Mm.
that guy that's on the playground. That's like, man, them guys in the NBA can't see me. But yo, you at the playground. They're in the NBA, so whatever you say don't even really matter. And I
Yes.
and that was really my the thing that motivated me to say like, yo, you got to finish this book, you got to put it out there, and you got to see what you could do, because if not, you're just a playground legend, you're nobody, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're just a guy like, yeah, yeah, you know. And I can say, hey, Jordan came to my playground and I beat him, but it doesn't matter because it's on the playground. You
Well,
need
let
to
me
go to the NBA.
well, let me say this.
Yeah,
You can still be great.
yeah,
You're not a nobody. But I get what you're saying, but
yeah.
you're just in a category as the best kept secret, okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am, but
So
I want to be. I want. I don't want to be a secret no more. So I gotta see if you know. And it's so funny because one of my other friends that is really good at what he does, and he works for. I told him the same thing. I was like, "Yo, you have to. You've gone in and helped all of these people make money online, tens of millions of dollars online, but you now need to do it for yourself."
mhm,
Because people will never ever respect you, even if you did it for so. It's like if you had a job and you worked for, let's say, Apple, and you help discover the iPhone or whatever. People are always going to say, well, he worked for Apple or she worked for Apple, so it was a lot. But until you go out there and do it for yourself, you'll never ever get the respect that you're probably looking for in that industry. For some people that's okay,
mhm.
but I want to, you know, because then I'm able to really demand the type of money that I feel that I deserve.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what you're doing, so if you look here, it's an invisible pew. You can't see them, I can't see them, but they right here. And you're speaking to their spirit, somebody that has that same expertise, that has helped individuals behind the scene to become mega successful.
Right.
And they're like, wait a minute, he talking to me. You just like when you in church and the pastor said, oh, I'm talking to somebody out here. And you're like, oh, wait a minute, he really talking to me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
as they say in the church, what comes from the heart penetrates the heart. So, you're talking to somebody in the invisible pew and they ready and you giving them something that they needed to hear.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. Hopefully, I can give a whole bunch of them something that they need to hear.
Yes,
You know,
I love that.
regardless of whatever side they're on. Like maybe they want to, maybe they have an expertise in a particular field, and they want to learn how to monetize it. I implore that. I suggest they go out and figure out how to share that gift with the world, because the world needs that. There's someone. I say this all the time. There's someone that you know, maybe it's some skill that can help them make an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month. It's someone right now that is struggling, that every night before they go to bed they're hearing gunshots, right? Every day they don't have a car, they don't have enough money for a car, so they got to take the bus or the train to work. And if you could teach them how to make an extra couple thousand, and it could be something, it doesn't have to be like anything crazy. It could be, I met a couple at a marketing conference 2 years ago that they teach people how to make chocolate chip cookies, and they made in the two
Stop,
years
wait, wait,
they
wait.
made $5 million.
Wait a minute. I have a pause moment. And the pause moment is you need to say that again.
Man, I met this couple from Minnesota at a marketing convention called Funnel Hacking Live back in 2023. And the couple, and it's so crazy because I just had on a shirt, and they saw my no, was it? It might have been last year. It's either last year or the year before. I can't remember. But I had on this shirt, and the guy stopped me and he asked me about the shirt, and then we started talking, and they spoke at the event the year before, and I watched their presentation, but I didn't even connect that it was the same guy. And so yeah, I think they spoke in 2023. I met them either at the end of 2023 or 2020. I can't remember when it was. But no, it was at the end of 2023. Yeah. And so the guy stopped me in the hallway, and there's like 5,000 people at this conference,
Oh,
and he
wow.
just sees my shirt and he stops me, and he's like, "Oh, that's a cool shirt. It's my expert shirt. I think it said like expert um paid all, what does the shirt say again? I don't remember what the shirt said. I'll send you one of the shirts too, because I have
Okay.
a bunch of
I
them
get
dressed
all
up.
these gifts. Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
listen, I appreciate it.
And so I start talking to the guy, and then I realized it was the guy, because he was, I was like, yes. He asked me what I do, and I told him, and I was like, what do you do? He's like, yeah, I'm a lawyer. I was like, oh, okay, so you're here to learn some marketing tips for your law. He's like, nah, my wife makes cookies, and we teach people how to make cookies. I was like, you guys are the cookie people. I watched your presentation last year, and I didn't recognize. He's like, yeah, that was us. They made in 2 years they made $5 million teaching people how to make cookies online.
You know, me, the pew, it's something to be said that it's not just what's in the mainstream. Because mainstream will think you have to be a digital marketer, you have to do this or that. Something like making cookies, these people made millions of dollars off of.
I heard a story about a not even heard a story. One a guy that I've learned from, he was talking about one of his, he teaches people how to start communities, groups. And he was saying that there was a young lady that was in his community that taught people how to make animal balloons. You know what I'm talking about? Them balloons, and then it's like a dog or whatever, and was making millions of dollars a year teaching people how to make balloons.
Well, something is definitely wrong with what I'm doing because I have skills on top of skills on top of skills. And I think what it is, not just teaching, knowing who your niche audience is too, because that's the
Right.
key, correct?
Yeah.
Knowing who your audience is that
Knowing, yeah,
wants to.
yeah, knowing who your audience is, and then being able, like a coach is something that gets something from where it's at to where it is that they want to be, right? So that's like a coach, like a coach. That's why they call it a coach, right? So it's
Mm,
the same as you, like a coach. Someone is here and they want to get to here, and you're just someone to help them get to where it is that they want to be. And it could be anything. Now, I think that if you're teaching someone how to make some extra money, right, or to replace their income, you're gonna make a lot more money doing that, right? But there's all sorts of things that people pay for to learn. It could be to help them manage their time. It could be to make certain things, right? Like right now, I am not so much now, but a few months back, I really wanted to learn how to make homemade pizzas. And I'm still doing it now, but I'm just so busy with my book that I haven't been focusing. And I've paid people for their course to learn how to make homemade pizzas, right? And
really?
there's all sorts of things that are out there that you could teach people. And what people don't realize is that with the advent of the internet, there's 8 billion people plus on this planet, and you don't need a whole lot of them to make a bunch of money. You know,
Yes.
I was just, it's so funny because I was just on the phone with a buddy of mine last night, and he called, everybody calls me like when they can't sleep, because everyone knows that I'm up. I don't go to bed till 8 or 9 in the morning.
Oh, trust
So
me. That's
yeah.
why I sent you that late text. I said,
Yeah.
hopefully this doesn't disturb you.
Oh, no, 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 no. I was just, actually, I had just went on my walk, and because I don't even walk till midnight. I walk
Mm.
for about 40 minutes to kind of get my brain flowing. I listen to a podcast, and then I come back and do my work. So I don't even start my work till 1 in the morning.
Oh,
And
wow.
everyone's like, "Oh, why do you do?" I don't know. I just I just like, and I can work whenever, right? I have no boss or anything. I live by myself. So I can work with my son. He's a police officer. So he calls me. I know by 3 in the morning when he's starting to get tired because he works that overnight shift, he's gonna call me, you know. So I try to get done with all this stuff. So I could, you know, I'll stay on the phone with him for an hour because I know he's getting tired and he wants because he don't get off till 6 in the morning. So everyone calls.
Oh, yeah.
But I was talking with my buddy last night, and I was giving him some money. He's like, "Man, I need to make some money. I need to figure out how to make some money online." And I was like, "All you got to do is come up with an idea that needs a problem that needs to be solved for a
Mm-hmm.
group of people." And with the advent of AI, you don't even have to be the expert anymore. AI is the expert. All you
Mm.
got to know how to do is how to go to AI and pull the right information. And a lot of people, they think they do, but they use AI like Google to Google, how do you do this or whatever.
Yes.
And you, if you learn, and it's not that hard, you just have to take some time to learn, go into YouTube University, right? And find out how to get the best result from AI. But I was like, I gave an example. I was like, and I shouldn't share it because I might actually do this project. But I'm gonna share this because it's you. I'm gonna share it
Oh,
with your audience. So
bless you.
I was like, think about let's, and I just gave him a sample, right? I was like, look at how many kids go to college every year. I went and looked it up while we were on the phone. There's 2 million freshmen. I think 1 point something million freshmen, college freshmen every year. I was like,
Wow.
you can use AI to build a guide on how to get scholarships, right? And I'm sure that there's over 1,000, probably 5 or 10,000 different scholarships. So you're telling me if you put together a guide that had all the techniques and strategies on how to get these scholarships, and then listed out all of these different types of scholarship for people, there's 2 million people that start college every year. They
Yes.
need this.
And,
They
and
need,
let's
and they have no idea that these
and
scholarships are out there.
absolutely, but let's take it a step further. He can do a parent guide and a child guide.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know? And I was like, man, you could sell that for at least like $50. Like who wouldn't pay if you can, if you gave me a resource that can help me get a couple $1,000, you telling me that's not worth $50?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? We talked about grant writing, the same thing with grants, right? There's thousands of grants. The average person has no idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to give away this money for free, but no one applies for it, so the money just sits there. And you
Mm-hmm.
put together a guide showing them all the different types of grants that are out there, all these different thousands of grants out there, and then you could sell them, teach them how to actually structure and write their the grant to be able to receive it, man, people will pay you. So let's just do the numbers, right? 2 million people starting, freshmen starting college every year.
Mm-hmm.
um if you can get 1% of it, so 10% is 200,000, 1% is 20,000. You get 20,000 people, and that's just in the US. That don't even include all the people from overseas that are trying to go to school in their country, or all the people overseas that are trying to get to come here to go to school here. I didn't even realize how big the numbers were until, because of all the drama, and I don't want to go into politics, but all the
Yeah.
with the president trying to cut off all the Chinese people from coming here to go to school. It's tens of thousands of people that come here from other, probably hundreds of thousands that come from other countries to try to go to school here. So like 1% is 20,000. You get 1% to buy your guide for $50. That's $1 million.
Oh, come on now. Talk
That's
that
one
talk.
million dollars, right? And
Wow.
that's only, and that's for this year. That ain't
Wow.
even talking about next year and the year after and the year after and the year after. And we're not even talking about, because that's just freshmen that are starting college. We're not even talking about seniors in high school and juniors in high school that are looking for freshmen now. There's
Yes.
millions of people,
Yeah.
millions. And you don't have to be, you don't even have to be an expert in that. You just have to know how to use the tools that has the expertise and pull the expertise out. And there's millions of other things too, you
Yeah.
know?
I think that's incredible. I feel like you've given my brain, the invisible pew, and my audience a brain exercise to really dive deep and think about one, what do you already know that you're really great at? Not just because you know you're great at, your friends, your family, and people say, hey, they call you about it, or you're always the one that's applying this particular technique and it's always great. So I thank you for that because sometimes we just need reminders for who we are. Sometimes
Absolutely.
we've let life get busy and we forget about those things that we have. And I like what you said at the very beginning. You call them gifts, and that's what they are. They're gifts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then even beyond that, even if it's something that we aren't necessarily, what is a problem? Because really the whole, like, an entrepreneur is someone that solves problems for people for pay or profit, right? So it may even be, what is a problem that you see other people have that you could solve, that hasn't been solved, that you can solve for them? Or what's a problem for yourself that you could go out there and find a solution for? Guess what? There's probably tens of thousands, if not millions, of other people that have that same problem,
Yeah.
right? So now that you figured out and solved it for yourself, now you could solve it and sell that solution to other people.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that's wonderful, and thank you for giving us a short course on some options and what we can do.
Yeah.
So let's get back into my boat of water, and I say that because water relaxes me.
Absolutely.
Water,
Same here.
it initiates my creativity, and I say all of that to say, can you identify a song that you've sung the majority of your life, and then one day you said, wait 1 minute, I was singing this song all this time, and I find out it's about this. Can you identify?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch that and again, when I'm put on the seat, my brain tends to forget. But there's one song that I'd like to mention that from that I did as a kid. So my earliest memories, my dad would buy was he wasn't like a huge music person, but he did buy records and whatnot. And I remember me and my brother, so he would buy these records, and then we would go over to his record. So this back in the day when we had record player, we go over to his record player and play this song. And he had bought this song, and we would, and when he wasn't home, we would always go and play it. It's called "Sexual Healing" by Marvin Gaye, and it's so funny because I remember one day he was taking us to school, me and my younger brother, that's 2 years younger than me. I had to have been about 7 or 8, and my brother was 2 years younger than me. So he was like 5 or 6. And I'll never forget, we were listening, the radio station was called Y100. It was like a top 40 radio station. And I remember that song came on, and me and my brother just in the back of the car is a Chevy Oldsmobile, or the Oldsmobile, and when I get that feeling, I want sexual healing. So my dad looks back. Who taught you that song? Who, and I got Jamaican parents. Who taught you that song? What? Why are you singing that? I said, Dad, you have the song at home. We played it at home, and and after that, he never ever played music from the radio in the car. He only listened to talk radio.
Wow.
I distinctly remember that. This happened, what, like 40 something years ago, and
Wow.
and I distinctly remember that. And at
Wow.
the time we didn't know. Well, I didn't know what the
Yes.
hell sexual healing was, and it wasn't until I was older that I was like, oh damn, I see why you people.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
That's funny how not only you are able to identify it when you get older,
yeah,
music is a great source of triggering the memory, and you can go back and have a defined moment in time. For
yeah,
you to say after that he never played any more music, he did talk radio after that.
yeah, yeah,
His thing was like, I'll never get them caught up in anything ever again, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Wow.
I don't ever remember him even buying any more music after that.
Wow.
I don't, I really don't remember him buying any more music. I actually, and I don't even remember him listening to music
Wow.
after that. Not saying that he didn't, or like if we're at like a family function, he would, but I just don't even remember him buying or listening to any more music after that.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
But do you like that song to this day, or it just
Yeah,
brings
yeah,
back
yeah,
memory?
yeah, 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 yeah. Because I remember when Marvin Gaye passed away, and I remember I was just so sad. I was about 7 years old. Yeah, I would have been seven because it was in '82, and I was so sad that he passed away. And I was like, I hope that don't happen to Michael Jackson.
Oh,
But
bless your
I
heart.
remember that. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah. Music. That was a good one. I don't think anybody have I heard was Sexual Healing was the one. I've heard all kinds of songs where people have sung songs and then they realize what it's about. So
Yeah,
you're no stranger to it. I'm no stranger to it, but that's what
yeah.
we call life.
Right, right, right.
So let's get to the most important thing, how I initially stumbled upon you online is your, I feel like you uncover the powerful stories that are untold. Like you may hear little whispers of these things, but you bring them to the forefront and you do a well crafted job of giving you the base of it. You give enough information. So if you want to go down that hole and get more information, you can. For example, I'm going to tell you what caught my eye. I was in Chicago back in 2019. I went for a conference and I decided to do a, what is it? Architect. I think that's what it was, down the river. So they kind of tell you about, and they briefly, and I think I was the only person that looked like me on this tour. And
Mm-hmm.
they briefly said, the founder, blah, blah, blah. And then they went on. And I said, excuse me? It was like, oh yeah, the founder of Chicago, his name was DeSabo. I said, excuse me. He was like, oh, can you just hold your question to the end of the end of the tour, and I'll give you more information. So I already knew that was suspect, right? So in my head, I'm coming to this for a conference. They talk about all these things in the book they're advertised. Like you said, they talked about, the Chicago this, the Chicago that, but nobody talked about this founder. So when we get through, he was happy to answer all my questions, not in the view of the other people that did not look like me.
Right.
So I began to unravel, and your information on Chicago, the founder, I actually sat at his actual original area where he founded his area, which is now a what is it, Apple iPhone store. I also, as I was there, I began to continue to look and find out not only that a friend of mine that was born and raised and went to the school and did not know. When you say, I'll say hidden in plain sight, went to the school, the Sabo was named this and that, and they had no idea who he was. And when I was there, they had a bust on Michigan Way of him, and you show it in your actual little
In the
video.
video. Yeah, yeah.
But it's crazy how just not this, many other stories have been hidden with in plain sight the truth. So if you can take us down the journey of what was the catalyst to say, you know what, I need to tell people some things they had no idea about. Can you talk about this? Because it's
Yeah,
really profound, and I know some other people doing something like that, but you're unique in what you're doing.
yeah. So it's really funny how I even started. So go back, what are we in, 2025? Go back 3 years to 2022. And one of my clients, he was in real estate, and we taught people how to build houses from the ground up. And we did. He just gotten into the industry. He wanted to teach people, and I found him, or we found each other, and I helped him do his first boot camp, and we made a lot of money. And after that, I started telling him like, you need to post content online, and because we were going to do another one, we are going to redo it, and I was like, yo, you need to do these style of videos, the style of videos where it's you on a green screen and it's cut out and you're talking about what's going on. And he wasn't, he was, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. And then I did something. Then another one of my clients, that's a physical therapist, we did a campaign, and he did a bunch of those videos. I told him the same thing. He actually did it, and our campaign was really successful. So I went back to the guy. I was like, yo, I'm telling you, you need to do it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it with you. Um, so I'm gonna do one every day, and you do one every day. And then now I'm telling him I gotta. I was like, damn, what did I get myself in? So I started doing it. I think this was at the end of 21 or 22. Had to have been the end of 22. And so I started doing them, and I started kind of doing them about marketing, sharing little marketing tips that people probably didn't, not even just tips, but maybe even going back in history, like how people didn't know that, why they tell us that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And we got to eat breakfast every day. And what it was uh, the guy that's considered the founder of modern day PR, Edward Bernays. He is Sigmund Freud's nephew. He was a genius. This guy is there's a documentary about him on YouTube called The Century of the Self. And
I'm gonna
and
have to check it out.
oh my God, it's incredible. It's incredible. You're gonna see how basically he single-handedly was responsible from taking America from a country where people bought what they need into consumerism. How people were able to how they got people to buy all sorts of things that we don't really need, but we want, so I would tell stories like that. So like with the breakfast thing, um, what happened was the pork council came to him like, yo, we need to sell more pork. And then so what he did was he went out and found thousands of doctors to write up and say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And a good source of breakfast is eggs, toast, and bacon and whatever else. And they put that out there, and that's how they were able to get. That's why we all say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Another one is like diamonds, right? What they did was they got people, they started a whole campaign saying that a man should spend 10% of his yearly income on a diamond for his wife. You treasure your wife. You treasure the woman that you're gonna marry. And they even went into high schools and taught this, right? So there's all sorts of things that are out there on like things that we do, and we don't even realize why we do it, and we just look at it as that's fact, that's it, or whatever. But it was just an advertising campaign that came up. There's like illnesses that are like halitosis, like bad breath, right? They gave that's a manufactured name. Halitosis isn't a medical name. The marketers came up with that name,
Wait,
halitosis.
wait, are you kidding me?
Yes, yes, and they did it to get people to buy more toothpaste.
Wow.
It's crazy. There's so many things out there that are like that. So that's the type of stuff that I was sharing with my content. And at the time, it just took off, right? Like I started doing them, and it took off. And I did it for about 6 months, but it was taking me so long to, because I was doing a video every day, and it take me 3 or 4 hours every day to do a video. And I'm doing it. I'm not outsourcing any of it. I don't have any. I'm editing all the stuff myself. And it did really well. And I just got wore down.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, man, I got to stop for a little bit because it's just taking up so much of my time and whatnot. So I stopped for about a year, maybe a little bit more than a year. And then I kept telling myself I need to start back again. But And then finally I did. I started back again like at the end of last year. So I start doing the video again. I'm doing them the same style as what I did before that worked, but this time it wasn't working. They weren't getting any traction. So I'm
Mm,
doing the videos and I told myself I'm going to do 100. I'm going to do at least 100. So 100 days in a row. I may skip one day on the weekends or whatever. Like tonight, I'm not going to do a video. I don't usually do one for Saturday morning. I skip that day. I take so, but I do them 6 days a week. And but they weren't working. And I felt like my content was just as good as what I had before, but for whatever reason they weren't working. And then in February, so I would post them on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. And I remember I post. So one day I posted a video. They'd get views. They'd get some views, but they weren't getting the engagement that they were getting before. So one day in the middle of February, some girl on TikTok comments, "Yeah, this is all good, but it's Black History Month. You need to be talking about Black history." And I don't like to be told what to do,
oh,
right?
bull, the bull.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I really wanted to go off. I'm that like if you ever see me on see on Instagram, I leave a crazy comment. People be like, oh, my pro got hacked, not me. That was probably me. Right? That was probably because I will challenge people, I will battle people, and I don't do it from fake. I won't make up a fake account and do it. I'm gonna do it. If I feel like it's something I need to say, I'm gonna do it from my account.
So you're
I
telling me
stand on
you're
my
not. So you're telling me you're not a keyboard gangsters because
no,
keyboard gangsters talk mess because nobody could see them.
right. Especially the ones that do it from a fake account. Because you go to the account, there's no picture. They got 2 followers. Whatever, whatever. I despise that. I despise that. If I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna say it from my account. I've never ever the only thing I've ever done was I have other accounts, but I might go like if it's a competitor, I might go on their account to download to sign up for their thing because I don't want them to know I'm spying. I might do that. I'm guilty of that. But so this girl says that, man, and I was really annoyed, because I feel like why don't you go and do that? Don't tell me
Hmm.
to you go and do that. But
Going
it
back to
really
the
annoyed me.
beginning about the work that's involved that people don't know.
Right, right, right. So it annoyed me for about 2 or 3 days, and then I said, "Let me try it." I was like, "It is Black History." I was trying to come up with something to talk about, and I was like, "Let me do a Black History thing." So I did it, and it took off. I was like, "Okay, hold on. Maybe I just got lucky. Let me try it again." So
Yeah.
the next day, I did another, but took off. I'm
Wow.
getting hundreds of comments. I'm getting hundreds of thousands of views. Like just viral. And I was like, that
I
young lady might have been on to something there. So I said, let me try it again. So I just every day. So then I went back. I said, okay, let me go back to what I was doing. I did that one, crickets.
mm,
Back to Black History, took off again. And that was like the middle of February. And I've done February, the rest of February, March, April, May. So I've done what? Over 100 videos. And
wow.
man, it is just killing it. And I really kind of struggled for a little bit because I was like, most of my clientele is don't look like me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
come to my profile and see all this Black history. They're gonna think I'm whatever, this racist dude or whatever. And I really, really struggled. And then I saw it was somebody famous liked my post or started following me. And I said, you know what? I I'm gonna just continue
Absolutely.
because and I was like, if someone comes and sees this stuff and don't like it, that's their business. Because I'm not saying anything racist. All I'm doing
No,
is highlighting what our people done. And let me tell you, it has been so rewarding for me because I've learned so much. And crazy fact, fun fact, I actually went to school. I have a degree in history. My minor is African American study, and I've never used my degree one day in my life. I don't.
wow.
My degree is somewhere in some closet in my house. I've never used it. I graduated from college 28 years ago. and I've
Wow.
never used my degree one day in my life. And now I'm actually using, but to be honest, I'm not even because most of the stuff that I'm learning that I'm sharing, I didn't learn in college.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
learning it now,
Yeah.
as I'm learning it in real time. So I've gone from since February, I've gone from 14,000 followers to 62,000. Every
Wow.
day I get an average of about 500 new followers a day. I can't tell you the amount of people that have that comment, and I get some negative. I probably get out of 100, I'll get maybe 3 or 4 people that will say something stupid, like
But
even
that can be
some
the
racist.
bots, and that could be people
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. But for the most part, like 95%, 98% of the people that comment are like, "Oh my god, I never knew this." People are saying, man, one person DM me, a guy, he's like, "Man, me and my kids look at your account every morning, and I'm able to teach my kids Black history through your account." I had
wow.
I just had a white lady a couple days ago message me saying that um her she went to the school's um like PTA or some organization or whatever, and because they're taking the Black history out of the schools, so they want to start up a Saturday program. It's a white lady now. They want to start up a Saturday program, and she didn't know, and she wanted to be a part of it, but she didn't know where to. So she's coming to my page to look at all the stuff to help use that to
Wow.
teach. I told her, man, whenever you start, let me know, and any resources I can share. Because for me, it's not about um like trying to make money off.
Yeah.
It's just sharing this stuff. Because man, some of the stuff that I've come across is incredible. Like the Chicago story that you told, never knew. Um,
Would you tell just a little bit about the Chicago story from your point of view?
so
Because
the
I kind of
so
glossed over it. But if you talked about the original founder was a man, and you talked about which I found out, not only did he know multiple languages, I
yeah,
also found out that um, the Caucasian men, so to speak, they would use him as a interpreter because he would
yeah,
make trades with people in Canada and different things like that
yeah,
as well.
yeah. So this is the video right here. Um, His name was John Baptiste Point du Sable.
Hmm.
He founded Chicago in the 1770s. Some say obviously because this is 200 plus years ago, that he may have been born in Haiti because he
Hmm.
has a Haitian name. But yeah, he started the first settlement in Chicago. Some of the other stories, because I've done over 100 of them.
What
So
about the
one thing, because
millionaire?
there's so many millionaires that I've talked about. Let me give you and I'm gonna get back to the millionaire one, but
Okay.
and it's just so amazing to me how like some of these people made millions of dollars in the 1800s, and we're here in 2025, and we can't figure out how to keep our head above water. And these people made money, made millions of dollars during slavery.
Hmm.
It is incredible. Um,
But I
some of the
think
ones that
it's
come to my mind is like I never knew. Central Park in New York, and I just went to New York a couple months ago. Central Park was the first black settlement
yes.
in New York, and it was the first place where black people actually owned land in New York. It was
Hmm.
insane. And then the city decided they wanted to put a park there, so they condemned the housing and kicked the people out and built
Absolutely.
Central Park, you know?
And I think they used the term intimate domain, and they
Yeah.
were able
Eminent
to do it.
domain.
Another
Yeah,
game that they play, I was aware of that, but another game that they would play if your parents didn't have the opportunity to own property, you couldn't own. I mean, it was all kinds of
yeah,
games that were being played, but the catalyst to all of it, that if we allow mainstream to tell our stories, we were nothing but people that were lazy and didn't do. But when you do your own research and you tell your own stories in such an elevated way, we are absolutely remarkable in every single way. And if you peer down deeper, you find out that who you thought was great, they took the knowledge from us, regurgitated, and gave it back to us.
There was a
And
guy. There was a guy that actually that what's his name? Thomas Edison. I did a video on him I think about 2 weeks ago. Thomas Edison actually stole his ideas and he took Thomas Edison to court and won. So you know that what you call it. Now, how many people probably took someone stole their ideas and they took, we're talking about in the 1800s or early 1900s, right? And for this guy to have taken Edison to court in the late 1800s or early 9 and won, then you know it's absolutely his idea, right? And
yes,
Thomas Edison is considered to be the greatest inventor of all time, and he
you
was
know
stealing
why?
black people's ideas.
Because it's repeated. Let's go back to the advertising. It's
Yeah.
repeated and they pay a certain amount of people, whether it's in medical, whether it's in dentistry, whether it's in food. And you just get, that's why they have what is called, I was a part of it before, where they get a segment of the population, they call it, where they ask you different questions and get your perspective. I forget what they call it.
Yeah, like a survey, not a survey, but
Not a
a focus group.
survey, a
Focus
focus
group.
group.
Yeah.
So what they're doing, they're gathering enough evidence because they have different people from different walks of life, so they can essentially trick you into what they need to be done. And I just know that we are so amazing. We're the mother and fathers of so many things, even the ones that you think are great. If you look deep enough, again, it's our stuff. Just like I just recently found out Batman, Superman, Cinderella, all of that was our stories. Had
Yeah.
no idea. Had no idea. But
The
they
Lone
took,
Ranger. I don't know if you remember the Lone Ranger, right?
yes.
That was based off of a black man. The Lone Ranger. Yep.
Wow.
The story about the Western cowboy, the Lone Ranger. His name is something Bass something. They actually made a show. There's a show on right now about it. Bass Reeves. That's his name. Bass
Oh,
Reeves. Yeah,
okay.
that's
Yes.
the character. The Lone Ranger was based off of Bass Reeves.
See.
Yeah,
So you see this
and he's a black man. Yeah.
continuous cycle of taking, reappropriated, and then we don't pay attention because it doesn't look like you and I, but it's really our origin story.
What we're using right now, right? What we're Zoom right now was created by a black woman. I just did a video on her 2 days ago. Her name was Marion Croak. She's still alive too. She's the one that created voice over IP, right? Which allows us to do what we're doing right now using Zoom, or if you ever use FaceTime or any of those tools. It was all because of this black lady named Marion Crow. She's actually still alive. She's probably in her 80s or 90s, but she's still alive right now. I just did a video on her 2 days ago. But there's so many stories. There's
Yes.
so many. I really implore your audience. I mean, if you never ever, for me, this wasn't about like trying to to promote my marketing stuff. What I would really input more than you coming to spend some money with me with the marketing or whatever, go to my page and just look at the stories. Just look at
Yes.
this stuff. That means more to me than you spending some money with me. Go to my page and just look at some of these stories because every day that I do them, I it just it totally amazes me. I'm like, oh my God, man.
Well, I
Oh my
was
God. I can't believe that these people did some of this stuff, you know?
Well, I'm so thankful that you did it. That again, it made me bold enough to DM you and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
I looked at your stuff. I think it's great. I would love for you to come on and talk about that. And we'll make sure we put all your information in the description box because I encourage any and everybody that, whether it's today, tomorrow, a year from now, go and touch and look at it. And it does not have to do with anything regarding our color
Right.
because everybody should be aware of what you have produced. And these are great, great, great people that have sacrificed and did really amazing
And
things.
amazing, amazing things, man. There's so many things that these people did in a time where, I just saw a stat the other day that said that the average person here in the United States lives a better life than John D. Rockefeller did 100 years ago. John D. Rockefeller, for those of you that don't know, 100 years ago he was the richest man on the planet. Right? He was the richest man in America, richest man on the planet, and the average person today lives a better life than he did 100 years ago. So the reason why I bring that up is that, man, we have so many tools. There's so much stuff that we have, and every single one of us should be leaving our mark on this planet and doing something
Yes.
great. There's so much that we have, and it's so easy to sit here and to say, um, oh, I don't have this or I don't have that. But look at what these people did. You know, when I look at some of these people that became millionaires during slavery, you had people trying to lock you up and make you enslave you, and you were able to figure it out and to become and to either create something, invent something, or build a business or whatever. Man, we don't have no challenges, man. We should. There's nothing that we shouldn't be able to do now, you
No,
know.
no,
And our
definitely that.
ancestors just did some really amazing things that I think would blow so many people. And I think that that's why my account is just growing so fast. Like, it's
Absolutely.
grown 50,000 followers in the last 4 months. Every one of my videos gets hundreds of thousands of views. Um, man,
Because it's really compelling stories that really pulls the wool off of what America has told over and over again.
yeah,
And it's like, wait a minute. So it makes you kind of go down what they say, the rabbit hole. If it's this
yeah,
one, well, what about this? And if
yeah,
they said this, what about this? You talked about Edison. We'll
yeah.
talk about Ford. Same
Right,
thing. People
right.
don't know that. So I just think it's wonderful. I applaud you
Thank you. Thank you.
for what you have done. I think it's amazing, and I'm going to encourage everybody. I will make sure we have the website. It's on your IG page. I know you're
Yeah.
all over, but I saw you on IG.
Yeah, that's the platform that gets the most traction. But I'm gonna tell you something funny today. So I have two Facebook pages, right?
Hmm.
Because Facebook had banned one of my pages a couple years ago from advertising for whatever reasons, stupid. But so I have another Facebook page that a lot of people are starting to find me on it now, but I only use it to advertise, right? and and I'll post the videos to that page. And I never ever looked or like go in the comments and respond or whatever. And I just happened to look today and I've seen on there that several of the posts have gone viral. Because on my other page, the posts don't, I get like 20 views. And I'm
Yeah,
like, why isn't it taking off on? But I kind of understand because all the platforms are a little bit different and
yeah.
different will do, even if you post everything on all of them, they'll all do, they all kind of run independently. So, and I just looked on this Facebook page and I have like one that I did last week that got like 160,000 views. I had
Wow,
no idea that people were even looking at the stuff on this. I just seen it like not even 2 hours before we jumped on the thing. I just
wow.
I just messaged my VA to like, yo, you got to go on there. I'm gonna show her how to go on there and like, cause what I do is I try to engage with the people, so I'll try to like their comments and respond to their comments or whatever,
I think
and and
that's
and
great.
and we, there was at least 10 posts that probably had over 50,000 views on. I had no idea. I had no
Wow.
idea because
Well,
I didn't
let
even look at it.
Well, let me say this. I'm glad I got
Yeah,
in touch with you
thank you.
before it went to that, because people really need to know
Yeah,
what you offer, what you do. It is absolutely, like I said, I applaud you for what you've done. It is amazing, and people will never know the work and the time and the research that goes into to pull this stuff out.
yeah.
With that being said, I do have one more question before I have you to tell them how anybody can get in touch with you. So, um, let's go back to our childhood one more time. And let's talk about, did I already mention about you purchasing your first piece of music all on your own?
No, you haven't.
Okay. So, you have birthday money, you have Christmas money, or whatever, whatever you did, you had the opportunity to purchase your own song, your own first, like you're like, ooh, when I get this, this is what I'm going to purchase. Can you tell me a song that was the first song that you purchased that was just like amazing and you have memory of it that you can share?
So I have two.
Okay.
Um, the first bit of music that I think I kind of purchased, I really didn't. I scammed them for this. Because I don't know if you remember in the back of the like magazines, they would have Columbia House where like get 6 CDs for a penny or whatever. And I remember I did that. I must have been 10, 11, 12 years old, something like that.
Hmm.
And I got 6 albums. It wasn't even, it was 6 records at the time. And I did it. And I can't I was trying to remember last night um which albums I got. The only one that I remember was Hall and Oates.
Oh,
I
okay.
got Hall and Oates. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that had to have been like mid 80s. But I got Hall and Oates album. I got 5 other ones too, but I just don't remember what they were.
Can you
Um,
give me a song that stands out on that particular album?
um, Sarah Smile
Come on. Won't you
and
smile?
yeah, Man Eater. I think Hall and Oates sing Man Eater or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm more listen to it now than but yeah, I'm a big Hall and Oates fan. That's the only one that I could remember. I can't remember what the other. I'm gonna ask my brother if he remembers what the other. Because then it was so funny. Because then they started sending these letters to my house saying you got no. They would start sending. They would the trick is get one. You just pay for one and you can get the rest. And then they would put you in this club and they would send you a record every month, their album of the month. And then I remember getting it and seeing the bill. I was like, they're gonna send me to jail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that
I
is.
remember that. And then but the first one that I actually bought with my own money, I believe was this would have been in 1990. I was about 15. And it was Marley Marl album. He was it was a big hip hop producer at the time, and he had this song called "A Symphony."
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was called "A Symphony," and it had um 4 different rappers on there: Master Ace, Craig G, Big Daddy Kane, and Cool G Rap. And I love that song. And I remember I bought that out. I remember my cousin came down from Jamaica, and we went to the record store and I bought that album. That was like the only good song. I kind of wasted my money, but I remember. I think that's the first album that I actually bought with my own money.
Do you remember some of the lyrics from that particular song?
I remember how the beat goes dun 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 dun. I don't remember the lyrics. I definitely don't remember the first two guys' lyrics, but something about light up the mic, and then they would. It was like a posse cut. And if you watch the video, because I just watched a video, maybe a couple years ago, they're like it's like a country western theme video or whatever. But it was a big song back then. It was like 1990. I remember he used to come on Yo MTV Raps. And that's why I bought the album. But I think
Yes.
that was the first album that I actually ever bought with my money.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing and going down memory lane. And if you can be so kind and to tell my audience of any upcoming events, any social media, anything you would like to share with them before we get out of here due to time?
Okay. So the best place to find me is on social media on um Instagram. My handle is Mark is marketing. So Mark, but is it spelled IZ then marketing? That's always going to be the best place. Mark is marketing on um Instagram and on TikTok and on X, on and I think on one of my accounts for Facebook, and my other one for Facebook is just Mark Todd. So that's the best place to find me, to see what I have going on. I have this book that I'm coming out with, and I'm actually launching a community for people, for business owners and experts and course creators that want to learn how to do better marketing or create better content. And it's going to be for free. It should be launching within the next week, and then I have a book that's coming out in the next month. So
Nice. That's amazing. So, you will give me all your contact information so they can tap in
absolutely,
and keep an eye. I really want them to go to your page to see all the content that you have
absolutely,
created. And in addition to that, to be able to keep up with you, to tap into this community that you're getting ready to build. And also just to, they may want to tap into your services or whatever the case
right,
may be. So I thank you so, so very much for
absolutely,
um,
my pleasure.
coming on for because you didn't know me from anybody, just somebody reaching out and was like, hey, I like your content. Can you give me a call? Blah, blah, blah. And you did so. Thank you for being a man of your word.
Right, absolutely,
Before we get out of here, I do. With any of my audience, I talk about the journey and the destination. The journey is where we learn and where we grow. The destination is where we celebrate. Far too often we working, and we're not celebrating. And if you don't celebrate, you don't get a chance to appreciate what you're doing. And if you don't appreciate what you're doing, then it's really all for nothing.
right,
But when you get through celebrating, the key to it all is to get back into that journey so we can continue to learn, grow, and elevate. And then we'll get a chance to go to the celebration again.
absolutely.
So, with all of that being said, when I have my women on, I bow to them, but to my men, I salute them. So, sir, I salute you. I thank you for one for saying yes to come onto my platform because I thought it was just so important to showcase what you do. And last but not least, I always give my guests the last word. So last word goes to you, sir.
First and foremost, thank you. I appreciate you even inviting me on and sharing me with your audience. And if you have some sort of a skill or anything that you could share with the world, it is your absolute obligation, your duty to share that with the world, because you don't even know how that one thing that you know could help someone improve their life. So if you are one of those people out there that has something, and even though you might think that what you have may be trivial, someone else out there needs to know it, to learn it, and it would improve their life. So you make sure that you share that with the world out there.
You know what? We couldn't end this in a better way. We thank you. I want my audience to please, please put your hands together and thank my special guest, Mr. I thank you so, so very much.
So,
And as
absolutely.
I say to all my guests, I'll see you out here in these Las Vegas streets. Thank you.
Thank you.